with the Ohio Restaurant Association. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this free Ohio Restaurant Association Restaurant Education Series event, Just Another Pretty Facebook, a focus on Google+. This is the sixth in a series of 7 webinars on social media. This series came out of requests from participants in the Social Media Summit last year. The Ohio Restaurant Association Restaurant Education Series provides members free access to educational events that help them sustain and grow their businesses and are developed based on member feedback. Restaurant Education Series events support a key ORA initiative, the education of our members. All educational events are posted on the ORA website, ohiorestaurant.org. To find them, go to the website, ohiorestaurant.org, Education and Events tab, then Restaurant Education Series tab. This is where this webinar recording, along with the PowerPoint slides, will be posted in the next 2 to 3 business days. Heartland Payment Systems is the lead sponsor of all RES events. We thank them for their support of this valuable programming. Before we get started, I want to review a few housekeeping items and let you know how you can participate in today's webinar. At the end of the webinar, we'll take your questions, but during the webinar, please feel free to send questions to the moderator. I'll show you how to do that momentarily. After the webinar ends, a survey is going to pop up. It will take you no longer than 3 minutes to complete. Please respond to the survey in order for us to improve our restaurant education series. We want to make sure we're offering education you find valuable. Currently, we're looking at an example of the GoToWebinar attendee interface, which is made up of 2 parts. The viewer window on the left, which allows you to see everything the presenter will share on his screen, and the control panel on the right. Within that control panel is how you can participate in today's event. So let's look at that. By clicking the orange arrow, you can open and close your control panel. From the View menu, you can also set the control panel not to auto-hide when inactive if you prefer to keep it open. The audio pane provides audio information. By default, you have joined the webinar via mic and speakers. Click Audio Setup to select your computer speaker or headset devices. If you prefer, you can join the audio via telephone by selecting Use Telephone, and the dial-in information will be displayed, including an audio pin which you must enter. At the end of the presentation, we will answer your questions. Please send the questions to our moderator through the questions box. Please simply type in your question and hit send. Now I'd like to introduce your speakers for today. First, Sean Christie, our speaker for the last several weeks. As you know, Sean has spoken to groups all over the country on the topic of driving revenue with the incredible power of social media, including ORA's own North America Pizza and Ice Cream Show, as well as the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Show for the past 2 years. He works with his founder and president of Eat, Drink, Promote, and he's also the president of a new company, Focal Point Social Media. Our next speaker is Bill Luckey. Bill is the founder and president of SearchLink, a local search engine optimization firm. It's established in 2009. SearchLink works with small to medium-sized businesses on improving their visibility online for local search. As a local search expert, Bill has over a decade of experience in the SEO field and has worked on over 200 campaigns. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Bren. Very excited to have Bill with us today because Google Plus, as the title of this webinar leads you to believe it's more than just a pretty Facebook, and that's really because of the local search component. While you do create content in a similar manner to Facebook, and it's got some sharing features, and the plus one, which is like a Facebook-like, it's different in many ways too. So Bill is a local search expert. That's all that Bill does. And so we want to share with you that local search piece. In addition to that, we'll go into things like the circles and the Hangouts and some of the additional functionalities that you're able to accomplish and use through Google+. So Bill, thank you for being here. And we had that first slide up that talked about right place, right time. This is critical in the restaurant industry because people are making decisions right before they go out many times. And my man Jay Baer, who I referenced in earlier webinars, wrote a book called Utility. and it's really a frame of mind awareness. They're in the frame of mind to buy, or the frame of mind to take their wife or husband out to dinner. And so you're able to capture that market, and Bill's going to talk about that local search functionality today. With that, Bill, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you want to start the slides on that topic, I would appreciate it.
Sure. No, thank you, Sean, and thank you for having me. So with Google+, there really is a lot more that you can be doing or possibly could be doing with your business pages. I will be addressing the Google+ business page aspect of it. There are personal profile pages as well in addition to the business pages. So I wanted to make sure I established the difference there. I'll be going over the steps to optimizing the Google+ pages, what can be done to the Google+ pages, as well as I will be going over 2 examples showing placement and some of the steps we've taken with the business owners to achieve that placement. Also, I will address reporting and analytics, going over the local analytic dashboard and what can be tracked just through your local presence and through the local listing, which is obviously attached to your Google+ pages as well as your website, and content and other strategies as well. And then we'll be fielding some questions as well at the end. So first, steps to optimizing your Google+ pages. There really is quite a few steps you can take, and how they're done can determine whether you're on page 5 or page 1 in that local section. I'm not even certain if all business owners realize that that local section that has your name, address, and phone number and link to your business website also has a link to your Google+ business pages, but that how your Google+ business pages are set up can determine where you are ranked locally in that local section and not just what is on your website. The first step is obviously claiming and verifying that listing if you have not already done so. This could be done by mail or phone. Google has gone back and forth whether they allow you to verify your business information via phone. There was some falsification going on with people that may work from home or whatnot, saying that they have a different location and verifying by phone. So this is why Google has kind of gone away from that, and they will now send a mailer out to your physical business address you want posted in the local section. But the first step in the process is actually claiming that listing. Once you have the rights to that listing, once Google sends you a code in the mail, once you receive that code and enter the PIN and verify your listing, that's where you now have access to your Google+ business pages, and that's where the process begins, really. That process alone takes about 7 to 10 days, and you do have to keep an eye out for it in the mail, or else you'll have to begin the process all over again. Once you have access, it's important that your profile be 100% complete. This is done through a variety of different steps. Getting to 100% completion is really just about completing all the steps. It's not saying necessarily that they're done the best possible way, but it's important to complete all the steps regardless. Keyword phrase categories are quite important, and this is one of the major factors in where you are positioned and what searches you are appearing for. There was 5 keyword phrase categories you could target. It is now 10. You can target up to 10 keyword phrases at a time and show up for phrases related to each one of those keyword phrase categories. For example, if I target restaurant, it may show up for best restaurants, or restaurant singular, restaurant plural. By targeting restaurant, you will appear for a variety of those phrases as well. We essentially have found that targeting 5 at a time has been really a sweet spot in terms of showing up for the phrases, and that's essentially what we go off of. Next would be the content of your description. It's important that you obviously fill out the description, but also include the city that you are targeting or that you are located in the description. If I'm in Mentor, for example, Mentor, Ohio, I want to make sure Mentor is part of my description. Google, essentially, this is an area where they crawl the description, and it's one of the indicators in what you show up for and what positioning you have for different phrases in the local section. You want to make sure all the keyword phrases that you're also targeting are within that description as well. Next would be photos. there's a variety of different options you have with the photos. The three main sections really are the profile photo logo, which is a small circular logo. And a lot of what I'm going over to I will show visual examples of as well. But the profile or the logo section, you want to make sure you have either a logo. If you're a one-person business, you may want a picture of yourself up there if you're a personal trainer, for example. Cover photo, which is the main photo that is essentially the backdrop when someone goes to your Google Plus pages. Also, additional photos that if somebody goes into the Photos tab for your Google Plus business pages, they can see the additional photos of the business. Next would be video. You want to make sure that if you have videos out there, that they are viewable in your Google Plus business pages. You can upload them directly from your laptop, desktop, to the video portion of your Google Plus business pages, but you can also simply go to YouTube and pull specifically from YouTube, just copy and paste the link and post it as well. We recommend posting with a video, copy and pasting perhaps a recent YouTube post of a video you've put onto YouTube, posting that under the post section, because essentially what will happen is when someone goes to your local Google Plus pages, they'll be taken right to the post section if you have any post activity, and that video will show up. So essentially, rather than somebody going to the video tab, or the video having to take the extra step to go to the video portion of your Google Plus pages, when they simply go to your pages, your video will appear under the post section. Reviews are consistently and constantly rather being brought up, and they're a hot topic right now, and everything seems to be more and more review driven. They are now becoming part of analytics, which I will touch on in a little bit. But essentially, Google is now pulling reviews from around the web, so not just people that post reviews on your Google Plus platform, but also around the web. They are now showing reviews from other sites and giving the business owner a chance to respond. They are not currently pulling reviews from Yelp. I know Yelp is a hot topic, especially for restaurants, and a growing and popular platform. But from everything we've heard and read, that they had a partnership back in the day, but they're no longer pulling Yelp reviews onto what's being reflected on Google in terms of your Google Plus business pages. Just in a regular organic search, you may see a review of your business that if someone clicks on it, goes right to Yelp. Also, for the geographic area, the targeted area can make a difference in terms of where you appear for search in the local section. You want to obviously describe or list rather the towns that you would like to appear in. You can either list towns, zip codes, or radius from your actual physical business location. One of the limitations is if you have a location in, say, Cleveland, but you want to appear, say, down in Cincinnati, that's not going to happen. It's the local section and the local listings really for local search, and you're only going to accomplish positioning in your local area unless you have a location in Cincinnati. Next, I'm going to go over essentially two options, or descriptions rather, of clients that we currently work with that we've achieved positioning for in the restaurant or bar industry, and give you kind of an idea of what can be done. The first is Ridgeview Grill, which is a restaurant out in Wilmette, Illinois, which is a small town in the suburbs of Chicago. Another small town bar and restaurant is Fat Duck Tavern and Grill. With Ridgeview, this is a good example of how Google is displaying the local for restaurants, bars. It used to be a vertical top-to-bottom local positioning where you see your listing with the name, address, and phone number, and link to your site, link to the map. It didn't have this carousel essentially did not exist at the top. By the carousel, I am referring to the actual black bar, if you will, across the top, which appears before anything, really, for this search. This is just an example of a search for brunch in Wilmette, for example. You will see the local options from left to right, and the positioning rather than top to bottom is left to right. So fuel is the first one on the left here. They would be the first option top to bottom if it was displayed how it used to be, which is top to bottom. It is now a carousel, so whoever was A or first is now all the way to the left and is first when you're looking left to right. There's a huge difference if you're on page 1 or if you have to rotate the carousel going to page 2 to find more options. You want to be obviously considered in that first group of results. All of these options are linked to a business's Google Plus business pages. So how well those are developed is the difference between, how many reviews, description. There's a variety of things that I've already touched on that determine if you're 8th or 1st for a search. Our client is currently 2nd, and we don't guarantee positioning, but our client's currently 2nd and receives quite a bit of business from the search. Also, it's becoming a lot more social in terms of the carousel. It's where the listings were appearing now. You're able to see how many reviews, the ratings. That's all available without even going to the Google Plus business pages or clicking on someone's Google Plus business pages. It's all right in your face, essentially. You can see how many reviews they have, how well they're rated, before you would have to go to someone's Google Plus business pages to get that information. Here's an example of what their business pages actually look like. You'll see just their basic information, name of the business, address, phone number, an actual link to their website. If you click on it, it'll go right to the website. It'll display hours. One of the cool new features they have is that just within the past 6 weeks or so, they started displaying how many views. So without even having to go to your local analytics dashboard, you can see how many views you've had of your local pages, essentially. And this client is just under 200,000 views since their page has been created. Also, you'll see the different tabs, the About, Posts, Photos, and Videos. There's a Review tab as well. Each section has different information. And for instance, the About will include hours, some of the basic information, description. Posts will obviously show what post activity has been there, whether it be videos, links to other sites, or just an announcement of an event. Photos section, all the photos that have been uploaded to the local pages appear underneath there, as well as any videos that have been uploaded appear underneath the video section. And as I mentioned before, you can actually pull a video from YouTube and post it so it shows up underneath the post section. So when someone goes to this page, the first thing they can see under posts is the video without having to go to the video section. FatDog, again, just another example. They are coincidentally 2nd, again, from the very left, but certainly part of that first mix of businesses that appear before anything else organically. The number of reviews, in my opinion, will never have a huge impact in where you're positioned. In my opinion on that is that, yes, you want to get reviews and you want reviews posted on your Google Plus local pages. However, if it just became all about reviews, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, or some I should say, would work on building reviews with the wrong intent in mind, and the reviews may not be necessarily as quality as they should be. I'll leave it at that. So there's just another example of what their Google Plus business pages look like. Again, with the views, about just over 90,000 views since it was established. Ratings, but really interactive and social, a lot more social than it used to be when it was Google Places. And now Google Places is now Google My Business. You may have heard a rumor about this, but it essentially switched over just over a month ago, where Google Plus Local, they were referring it to, is now Google My Business. And Google My Business is simply the name they have for the new dashboard in which you can track everything your local Google Plus pages are doing and the activity of that and how often it's appearing in searches and so forth. The social activity and what you can track socially it's a lot more social than it used to be, essentially, where you can now track how many people have viewed your posts. Google will now tell you how many people have viewed your photos. Impressions. Impressions is simply showing up for a search. Clicks, how many people have actually chosen your business or clicked on your business. It will show top zip codes for directions if people are requesting directions to your establishment. As well as if you, and this is the carrot they're kind of dangling, is that if you have over 200 followers, which people are just beginning to start to follow, and it's not really happening in the masses yet, but to follow businesses on Google+, if you get over 200 followers, Google will then allow you to access the age, gender, and really the demographics of who is following you. Here's another example. Well, this is an example actually of a client of ours that here is what their local dashboard looks like. You'll see the edit button at the top right. If you click on that, that will actually take you to the edit screen, and you will be able to do a variety of things that we touched on in the beginning, such as completing your profile, the keyword phrase categories, change the description, photos, etc. Posting, again, under the posting section, you'll see the different options. This is the actual area, one of the areas you can post, but you will see the different options under text. There's an option for photos, an option for a link to add to your post, a video if you want to post a video, or an upcoming event. So you have some different options there rather than just posting perhaps 2 or 3 sentences or a paragraph of information to make things a little more interactive. The local insights. Insights used to be referred to as the Google Local Analytics. If you hear someone use the word insights, that's essentially Google's word for the tracking of local results and what your local listing is doing that's attached to your Google Plus pages. Views is simply how many times over the last, in this case, 30 days. So let me go back one here. So over the last 30 days, they've appeared for essentially about 11,500 views. So those are search views. And then clicks drop 8% with over 1,120 approximately 1,000 clicks over the last 30 days. And then you'll see reviews below, actually below the insights. In the reviews, you can help respond. This essentially allows the business owner, and this is fairly new, but it shows you reviews from around the web as well as your Google reviews. And it makes you aware of them, and then you would have to still go through that site to possibly respond to the review. But it makes you aware of what is being said about your business on other sites as well. Just to bounce back to insights real quick, you'll see that for this example, it's over the last 30 days at the very top. You can pull data over the last 7 days, also the last 90 days or the last quarter, what activity has been there, or all time, what has occurred since you've established the pages. The next slide here is an example of a post. This is a post that a business owner got to us that we simply put up for them, but it's a good example of what a post looks like under the post section. She is a career coach, so she has an intro. Usually it's good to have a sentence or two introducing the post and then a link to the post itself or the article, the third-party article. But it's a good example of what you can do. And then the last thing I'll really talk about, and then I'll hand things back to Sean, is posting, and posting does matter. Sean can touch on this a lot more as well, but we recommend posting often. And essentially, you want to post content that's relevant to your industry. I've seen some businesses that use the strategy of posting content that has nothing to do with their industry, but that somebody may find interesting and start following them just to see what they're going to post next. That's one strategy, but we generally recommend to a business owner to post material related to their industry, that if people are following them, they kind of understand or know what they're going to post about. Keyword-rich content is important, and posting keyword your post, within your post itself, have keyword phrases that you would like to appear for within your post. We believe in establishing posting history is important, and consistency in posting. Everything we've read and what we've seen so far is that, according to Google, posting is only going to become more and more important and have a bigger impact on positioning of where you're positioned locally. If Google decides a year from now that it's going to matter a lot more than it does right now, you're not going to be able to go back 12 months and start posting. With each post, there's a date and timestamp to it. So you want to be proactive in posting out there frequently, and we recommend try to do it weekly, but we understand not every business owner can do it weekly. And developing some consistency in the posting. And in the future, and it's hard to predict the future, obviously, with Google, but what we've been reading is that posting may start to appear in organic results. So outside the local section, your actual post could start to appear just in organic results, where the organic links just to a business's website currently appear. They're actually testing out what's called pay-per-post right now, which is in the infant stages, but they're testing it out with a few businesses and kind of test marketing it, but actually paying where the pay-per-click ads are right now, and the Google AdWords ads are right now, actually paying to have your post up there, and then simply paying every time, rather than a click to your site, a click to your Google Plus business pages that are linked to your post. So with that, I'll hand things back over to Sean.
Thanks. So you can see that there is a lot more to Google Plus than just the actual content and postings.
I'm sorry?
Bill, could you pull that slide back up, please?
Sure.
There's a lot more to the postings than postings with Google Plus. And what we want you to know is, aside from postings and aside from that local piece, is that there are other things that you can do, one of them being circles. And what circles are is a way to group individuals where it might be staff. If you want to send a specific message just to staff, you could do that. Or it might be to people that you know that live in your city. Or it might be beer lovers, wine lovers, groups that meet at your venue. Maybe the Rotary Club meets every Tuesday in the morning. You want to make sure that you have different circles and you can send specific messaging. Now, this is if you want to get real fancy. Many people don't do this, but we want you to know that it's available. It might be your vendors if you want to communicate with them. That way, anybody within a circle is the only group that's seeing that specific message. So we just want you to know that A, circles exist, and B, how would you use them if you decided that you want to. This is something to look at if you want to communicate a certain message to only one group. So just know that circles are there. And then the next thing that we're going to talk about is Hangouts. Hangouts are just a cool way to video conference. This is group Skype, essentially. And this might be something that you want to do for a staff meeting. We do it with our clients around the country. Here's a picture of President Obama. He's done that with just town hall meeting style. So you can really use this for anything. Maybe it's focus group. Maybe you're brainstorming an idea and you want to involve some customers. We're thinking about adding a new menu. What do you want to see on it? And this is just a cool way to use technology to have a conversation. And you're able to do it on the run. There's even a smartphone app where I could just pull off the side of the road and jump on a call with somebody in my vendor circle, for example. You can leverage your circles through these Hangouts. So just know that you've got circles to group people, and you've got this technology, Hangouts, that's like a group Skype where you can have this conversation online. So those are two extra things that you don't get with any of these other social media platforms that you do get here. So while you may not use them, you may not have a need, know they're there, and that's just another arrow in your quiver. If you want to use something cool, what can technology do for us to give us a little bit more flexibility, or how can it solve a problem for us? Know that these things are there and at your disposal. And then we talk about this every week. Let people know that you're here. So include this on all your other marketing. On-premise, print, email signatures, direct mail campaigns, let them know they're here. In addition to finding your content, it also It also helps drive reviews, because if they're visiting, they may also give you a review at the same time. So just know that those three things are there, and then promote, promote, promote. With that, I would like to open it up to any questions. We talked about local search, circles, and Hangouts, but we're a little after 2:30, so I want to kick it back to Bren. If you could ask the group for questions, we will field them for the next 15.
Okay, looking for your questions. If anyone has any questions, please send them on to me. Sean, have you had any of your clients use Google very much?
Yeah, this is part of, we package out all of our programs. So from a content perspective, the folks that are taking on a high level of social media are producing content. However, 100% of them are taking advantage of at least having the presence so that they're found in this local search. That carousel that he showed on the front end is extremely important. So while you might not be in a position where you could hire somebody or have staff commit to posting, you definitely want to at least have your presence. And I agree with Bill that I think Google is going to move to a spot where these postings become more and more important, and having that relevant content supporting what you've put inside of your profile, that will be a difference maker in the future. So we recommend it, and this is only getting more and more popular. But one other thing that I would say is, if you're posting a specific kind of content already to Facebook, because it is similar in many ways, you can execute the same content strategy on Google+, and just echo what you're doing on Facebook so that you have that content running simultaneously. That may be an easy way to get involved in this platform.
Well, and that leads up to this question. Is there a way that you can connect them? Like, does Hootsuite connect Google Plus with Facebook, with Twitter? Is there any technology that they can use to just post once and it posts to all of them?
Not that posts through, so you couldn't post to Facebook to post through, but there are different programs that are similar to Hootsuite that will allow you to copy and paste a message and run it through one dashboard. But again, you want to make sure that we always recommend, and we haven't seen folks that we've worked with in the past have good success with trying to run it. Many times companies will come to us after they've already attempted to use the same message across all the platforms in the same manner. And we haven't seen, not that there's not some out there, because there very well could be, but in the engagements that we've been a part of, we've never seen that be successful. And typically that's when a business owner gives up and decides to outsource, when they just haven't seen success and they put time into it. And a lot of times that shotgun approach to social just feels robotic, and we talked about that on, I think it was the Facebook conversation or maybe Twitter, that you want to make sure, even if you're posting similar content, tweak it a little bit to speak to the audience in the platform. But you can be pretty similar on these two.
Okay. How would you let your people, your customers, know that you are on Google+?
Well, a couple ways. In that last slide, when we talk about management, it's all inspecting what you expect. So it might be a conversation of training your staff, because I think that word of mouth in that one-on-one communication with your staff and the customer is probably the most important, to be honest with you. So letting your staff know that this is a push, and then giving them some tools to help them explain it. So maybe we have a kickoff meeting and we talk out to the staff about what we're attempting to do, and here are the different platforms, and maybe here's a check insert that you can use, or maybe we're going to do a menu insert, or maybe we're going to put some things on the receipt so it's easy for you to talk about it as you're dropping off the check, and just encourage everybody to get involved from a social perspective, but not just to do it. Give them a reason. Maybe it's specials. Maybe it's you actually let your customers help you pick your menu. I think I referenced our frozen yogurt place that let the customers decide what was going to be on many of the handles within that frozen yogurt place. And so they just feel like a part of it. So it's got to be more than, hey, join my social media program and then take a listen, because we're going to market to you and tell you everything we want you to do. It's got to be a collaborative process, and you really have to think from a customer perspective, what's in it for them. So if they get a chance to pick things on your menu or pick what you have on tap, or it might be frozen yogurt, ice cream flavors, whatever that might be. Right now we're working with a bar where we've named it Bar ? And we're about to launch a campaign to let people submit names for the new bar that's happening at it's a University of Akron campus bar, and we're going to let people pick the name, and then we're going to take the top 5 and then turn the top 5 into kind of a last week vote, and then whoever picks, whichever one gets picked, they're going to actually let that person name a drink on top of it. So you let the community pick the name, and then the winner that submitted that name gets a little something extra, and they're going to name a drink, a high-end drink after that person, and let them help design it. So it's very collaborative and interactive, and we feel like that's where a lot of companies miss the boat. They feel like, hey, we're just going to push marketing messages to you. But when you have the opportunity to really get your audience engaged, it's just, A, a lot of fun, but B, it's effective because they feel like they're part of your team, and that's when you know you're winning on social media.
That's great. That is awesome. Well, it looks like I don't have any questions, so if anyone has any questions, you do have the contact information for both Sean and Bill. So definitely reach out to them. They're both willing to assist Ohio Restaurant Association members, so we appreciate that and their time. And I want to really thank you both for being on today. I know that you're very busy individuals, and so we appreciate you taking time out to help the Restaurant Association. I just want to have you all look. We have a couple more opportunities for education in the coming weeks and months. And if you get an opportunity, please join us tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning for the Ohio Department of Taxation webinar for quick service restaurants. And this webinar came out of discussions from one of our ORA members' issues with to-go orders and sales tax audits. So our Government Affairs Director, Richard Mason, worked directly with the Ohio Department of Taxation and this member to come out, and this webinar came out of that. Next week is our last social media webinar, so we hope you join us, and we will be picking the person who wins the Facebook makeover as well, so definitely want to be on that because you have to be on to win. And is franchising the right choice? A webinar on August 6th is going to guide you to the steps that you need to take to expand your business. It's not to be missed if you have any plans to franchise in the future. We hope you're able to join us on all these webinars. You can register for the events by going to our website, ohiorestaurant.org, and navigating to the Restaurant Education Series page. If you're not able to participate, please know we are recording these webinars. Again, please take a moment to fill out the survey link that's going to pop up immediately after we end this webinar. And as always, we need your feedback to create effective programming. Thank you for your participation today and for your continued investment in the Ohio Restaurant Association through your membership. This ends today's webinar. Have a great day.